it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find the content useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexualise.com, the founder of Asexualise Academy, and the author of this awesome fibromyalgia self-help handbook, How to Manage Fibromyalgia to have less pain, more energy and feel happier like a superhero rock star. So, in tonight's episode, we are going to be discussing this, which is the Ready Player One movie. So if you've never ever seen Ready Player One movie before, it is in fact a no sex movie. However, there is one scene where there's a person naked in it. As you know, if you watch this channel regularly, you'll know that I am asexual, meaning I'm absence of sexual attraction, and for that means basically I'm not interested in sex at all. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm interested in films with sex in it. And so yeah, I try and always get films that haven't got any sex in them whatsoever. As you may have known, I'm celebrating my birthday. I've been celebrating it for like 3 days, hence all the balloons in the background. And today I had a virtual asexual meetup, which is the first time I've ever held one. And overall, the whole meetup went on for over 8.5 hours. I'm a little sleepy today, but after the meetup, which lasted from 10 a.m. in the morning, till 6:30 something, I decided to put this Blu-ray on. Now, this Ready Player One Blu-ray, it also, the DVD price was exactly the same as Blu-ray, which is why I got it. Now, usually I don't read the background out of it, you know, the snippet at the back. I'm going to do on this occasion. I have to let you know, it is a Steven Spielberg movie. It's a really, really, really well put together movie. However, it does have some horror in it, and if you know me, I don't actually like horror. I don't like any horror or supernatural. So it's a science fiction film, but it does have some horror partway through it, and that really freaks me out. And I've been like falling asleep a bit because I'm really tired at the moment, and it's kind of like I feel really weird. So that's why I don't usually watch anything to do with horror, especially not late at night. But it is like a virtual reality game. So if I read it out, director Steven Spielberg's science fiction action adventure reveals a chaotic, collapsing world in the year 2045. So this is in fact set in the future. Salvation lies in the Oasis, which is a fantastical virtual reality universe created by someone called James Halliday, who's very, very eccentric, but very, very intelligent. When Halliday dies, his immense fortune is left to the first person who can find a digital Easter egg hidden in the Oasis, which is the virtual reality game he created. Joining in the hunt is unlikely hero Wade Watts, which is this guy. Who is hurtled into a breakneck reality bending quest filled with mystery, discovery, and danger. So in other words, it blurs the sense of reality, and I've been feeling a bit weird since I watched that film. So I don't normally feel very strange after watching films. And obviously, if you haven't seen the film, you want to see it, I suggest don't watch this. Don't watch this video because obviously it's going to have spoilers. But yeah, I mean, if you're a huge video game fan, which I'm actually not into video games per se. I'm not like, I don't play them. But if you're a huge video game fan, you will love this movie. For the pure simple fact that you are in a video game. So this guy in the beginning, as always with these type of stories, there's lots of stories interwoven. And this guy basically, things have gone on in the world, right? And it's still set in the future. And when we come into the film, we notice that his parents have died and that he's gone to live with his auntie. Now, in this time, basically the world has kind of like gone to pot a bit, you know, as in like it's been neglected basically. And they live in kind of like dumpster areas, this type of thing. They live in like in caravans and kind of wrecked buildings and stuff like that. And because he's lost his parents and everything, he's gone to live with his aunt. His aunt's boyfriend is really, really a horrible guy. And everyone's playing like video games. Like it doesn't, even the parents, like the ones that are alive, not his parents, are into video games. His aunt's into video games. His aunt's partner's into video games. And it's like, they're obsessed so much with playing video games in this virtual reality world that it takes over their real life. And I don't know if I feel weird because obviously with the virus situation going on at the moment, it's all very surreal, isn't it? But the virus situation is real life, and in some ways that's kind of like a horror movie. Do you know what I mean? But in other ways, it's kind of like a coming together of spirits and getting back to the reality that we're living, breathing human beings, and we do need each other, and we do actually need quality family time together. We do need to actually get out and about and get some fresh air and not be in this world which is so overtaken by video games and the latest tech. I mean, it's a really weird situation we're in, isn't it? Because it's like we don't want to be taken over so much by the social media and by the news and everything, because then we're not being in reality. But at the same time, we need social media to be better in this reality that we're currently really experiencing. And watching this, maybe it wasn't a very good idea to watch this at this time of life when the COVID-19 situation going on, because this really bends reality. I mean, the film really makes you think. I do like psychological thrillers usually, and to me this is a science fiction with a psychological thriller twist. I mean, this guy has to, and these people, they have to find these 3 hidden keys in this Oasis virtual reality game, basically, in order for someone to get Halliday's business to keep it safe and in safe hands, so the virtual reality world doesn't take over the real world. And I think that proportion of the film is very reflective in the sense of today, that, you know, we're so busy like in cars. I don't drive though, you know, polluting the atmosphere. We're so busy like working that we never have time. Well, I say we, I mean as a society, never have time really for kids and family time and for actually, you know, going back to basics. And I kind of like this really messed with my mind in the sense that, you know, the film makes you think about what the heck are people doing. They're so engrossed in technology and in fighting each other and in creating their own wars in a reality that doesn't really totally exist, but they're bringing that reality to their own reality and kind of spoiling the reality they've really got, if you know what I mean. So I kind of like felt a bit weird after watching this film. I've watched it before. I bought it because I wanted to buy it, but I feel kind of weird. I think it's messed with my mind a bit, and I try not to watch films too late at night because it does mess with the mind. And but it's a very good film as well. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up, Eddie. So no sex robots. No, Eddie, definitely not sex robots. No. But there is one nude scene in it. And it's a part of a horror. It's a very cleverly done film, but I don't watch horror usually. It does mess with my mind, and there's a whole horror scene in it. And it's quite bad. BOD. Oh, boo. Yeah, I'm a bit tired tonight, to say the least. I literally like was wanting to sleep, but I wanted to do this. Only one, no, thank you. Yeah, well, I hate horror, don't I? It's really bad for my mind, and I need to sleep. So I have been like having a nap quickly before I came on here, which is not very good because I feel weird since watching this film. Like I feel weird with the whole day's events. Like I had a really good virtual asexual meetup that went on for 8.5 hours. But I'm really, really tired, and then I watched this movie, and my fingers are swollen up as well. It's really weird. These fingers have decided to just do swelling, so my fingers are really swollen up after I ate. It's really weird. Anyway, go back to this movie. So yeah, in the movie though, there's no nudity, which is great. Sorry. There is one nude scene, right? But apart from that, it's good. But yeah, there is one nude scene, which is to do with the horror bit. But there's no sex, which is great, which is what I meant to say. and there is a love story. So I told you, I'm telling you in the beginning, there's a story with the fact that his parents have died and his aunt's taken him on with his uncle. And they're busy with the video game. Everyone in the world is busy playing video games. Parents never have time for their children in the beginning of this. Families are like shout and fight and have wars basically over video games. And you know, this is in the 2045 future, like, you know, basically future. And so I kind of like feel what's happening in the world with the virus a bit at the moment is kind of a reflection of this type of thing, where we've been so overtaken by other things in our life, we forgot what's important, which is human beings. That's what I'm trying to say. And you know, I feel like with this virus situation, it's forcing us as a society to go back to what matters, which is family, loved ones, not all the stuff that's being pumped out, like having the best looking clothes, or having the most flashy cars, or having the most, you know, using technology for bad. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment we're, you know, it's like all it's coming out, you know, you've got a choice. You can use technology for goodness to actually connect with people, and especially at the moment we need that, but there's also a bad side to technology. So I found this film very, very, very thought-provoking, which with what's currently going on in the world, in a kind of like really weird way. And so this guy, he has to get with his colleagues. Well, they're not his colleagues for starters. They're kind of in competition. There's this girl that's in competition for these keys, because the prize is to basically end up owning the company who created this virtual reality world. But if he doesn't own it, this good guy, someone else will, who's bad. So there's a baddie in it all the time. And there's a girl in the beginning who's also trying to get the keys, and is also the keys are in different realms of this sci-fi virtual reality world, and you have to get all the keys in order to get the prize. Well, in order to find the egg, which is hidden in a video game somewhere, which is to get the prize of actually owning the company which creates this universe, so it doesn't get into the wrong hands. That's what the film's all about. But there is a love story. So at the beginning, he's in competition with this girl trying to get the keys, and he falls in love with her. And it's a really, really, really beautiful, beautiful romantic love story. There's no sex between those two, although there's a comic bit at the end, because basically throughout the whole film you don't know if he's going to kiss her or not, or be brave enough to kiss her. And part of the story line is that he basically the guy who owned the company, he had a love interest and he had a partner, and the love interest got in between him and his business partner. But this is a huge part of the story of what happened. And Halliday never took the chance of kissing this woman, who later married his best friend. And if he had done, things might have turned out differently. But he had the date with this woman. So it was in like a love triangle. The guy who owned the company, not this guy, but this guy realizes he loves the girl that he's originally in competition with to get these keys. And he works out that she's basically he discovers who she really is in real life, not just the avatars, because this whole film, a lot of the movie is done with avatars. So when he puts his gear on, he has an avatar, and all the people in reality are not living in reality. They're too busy living through their avatars and not being true to who they totally are in the real world, because they're too busy consumed in the false virtual reality world, which is blurred with reality in this all the time. So virtual reality is the real world, in the sense that they've made it a part of their real world, because of the fact they've always got this headgear on, and they're always like dysfunctional families and not paying attention to each other because they're too busy, you know, sucked into these video games. So in the end anyway, there's a very, very beautiful love story between him and this woman. And Halliday, who was the guy who owned the company that died, that he's trying to get the company so that it doesn't fall into bad hands, he didn't have the guts to kiss this woman who eventually married Halliday's business partner and best friend. And in the end he says, I'm not gonna not take that chance, I'm not stupid like Halliday was. And he kisses the girl, at the very end, and the only bit of naughtiness to do with sex stuff in that situation is when he's got all this gear on, and then when he kisses her, he raises his legs up, like when he kissed her, which is a bit like meant to be symbolic of an erection, basically, which is supposed to be funny. But the love story is beautiful because he loves her for her personality. Because when she's in the movie with her avatar, she says, "Don't." He says, "I love you," and she goes, "Don't be stupid. You love my avatar. You don't love the real me. I don't really look like this. I choose what you see," which is very important because people in reality do choose what you see in unreality, and then you don't know what's reality anymore. So yeah, he says, "I do love you for who you are." And anyway, he finds the real her before the end of the movie, before they kiss, before they get together as allies, as it were. And she has this birthmark that's all across her face like this, so she thinks that no one will love her because of the way she looks. And he says, "It doesn't change a thing just because you got a birthmark. I still love you." And their love is a very pure kind of asexual love, really, because he loves her for who she is, her personality, not for her looks. And they've got this very, very deep emotional bond and connection together, and they'll do anything for each other, and they're like bestest ever friends. And that's what I really, really loved about the movie overall, is the fact that he really and this woman are total best friends. And then the sex is not, it's not about sex, it's not about looks, it's about the heart, what matters. And he's got a really good heart, and this girl's got a really good heart, and they fight for the honor of their family that's deceased and win the day. It's really good. Eddie, the series continuum has a world taken over by corporations, which is basically what is happening now. Continuum? The movies Robot Jocks has a world that settles wars by using giant robots piloted by humans to fight one-on-one to solve war troubles. Continuum. I don't watch TV, so I don't know what series you're talking about, Eddie, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah. I just I'm really tired at the moment, so I'm not quite my usual self because I'm really sleepy. Because I didn't have much sleep, and I've done over an 8.5 hour group live stream today. Not live stream, sorry, group live virtual reality group live chat. See, I can't even speak. I need some sleep, and so yeah, I wanted to just say all this because I don't like any horror stuff. It's bad for my mind, and it's really just messed with my mind, the horror bit. So yeah, it's got a horror scene out of The Shining that I haven't seen the whole film The Shining. It was one on my media studies list to watch, and I know it's horror because I study media studies A level, and I did have to watch some horror. Force myself to try and watch some horror for that. It was not nice. And so yeah, it's got this really horrible zombie thing, which is where the one nude scene comes into it. This young woman who's supposed to be naked and beautiful turns into a horrible old woman zombie who decides to hack his best mate avatar. So yeah, that's kind of like weird, but it is a really good movie though. But it's very powerful. It's a Steven Spielberg, so the special effects are incredible. But I do think, like watching this, especially at this time with the virus, when I'm recording this live, it's very weird because it is very kind of like does have a link for me personally, in the fact of all the kind of destruction towards families in the world that's of people's own making, really, because they don't take care of what's in front of them sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Like the good thing about I don't think anything to do with losing people is good about the virus, but I do think the coming together of people is really good. People now that are spending time with their families, the people now that are actually connecting with each other on the phone more, on video chat more, who are connecting with people they've never connected to before, were actually being brought back into the real reality world. And this is in the end of the movie, he does, obviously I'm going to spoil it, he does actually get Halliday's business. He gets and he he's going on to manage it with his team basically, and the guy who co-created it is having a minor, very small 25-cent share in the place, and is like a guide and mentor to them in the end. But he said that that he's not having everyone have a 7-day week virtual reality life, because that isn't reality. And he gives Tuesdays and Thursdays off, and then he's kissing his girl at the end because he said reality is better because it is reality. And that's where it ends, and it's really, really good. Sounds like Willy Wonka. It's not like Willy Wonka. I've watched Willy Wonka. Oh, it's not Willy Wonka in the sense that it's more true. This is more true to life than Willy Wonka. Do you know what I mean? This you could see actually happening, because this is like, boy gets a business. Yeah, I know. But he actually distributes it with his team, not just with his friends. He calls his team 4 other people. Not just himself. So it's not, in the end you find out he's a really good guy. It's not about himself, it's about preserving the whole place and getting into good hands. But it's a really incredible, powerful movie. It's got lots of different threads in it. It's got the fact he's lost his family thread going through it. It's got the fact that the girl's lost her family as well. But the most important thing about the whole film that Spielberg is trying to teach us is that we forget the reality because we're too busy living in fantasy world all the time. We don't appreciate what's right in front of us until it's gone, which is basically reflective of what's happening now in the world, isn't it? That a lot of people don't appreciate what's right in front of them, and either it's gone or we're being forced to appreciate more what we've got in its most basic form, without all the busy doing this, busy doing that. Forces us to take note of what's important in life, which is each other and life itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, the world's less polluted at the moment, isn't it? More people are actually spending time. I mean, I see, like, when I go out on the quayside going shopping, I see families on bicycles together, like parents with their kids on the same bike, like tricycles, is it called? Or I can't remember. Not tricycles, what's it called when you have one person on a bicycle and another person on the back? Is it a tricycle? Anyway, you've got tandems. Maybe it's tandems, but anyway, you've got parents with their kids, you've got families going out together, the ones that can go out together, and I just think it makes people take stock of their life, and it also forces people to think of other things in their life, things they haven't considered before. People get consumed and addicted to so many different things, and it's not always good or healthy for them. And they're so consumed with television, they're so consumed with having the latest gear, the latest clothing. They're so consumed with the media, which is very much not always a good thing. They're always consumed with the things that don't really matter so much, rather than actually loving what's in front of them and appreciating their friends and appreciating their family and stuff. So yeah, I just say, really, really appreciate who you're with, who you've got in your life. I met some incredible new people today on the virtual asexual meetup. Over 8.5 hours. I didn't expect to be on there that long. And I met some people from other countries that I've never met before in my life. I met some people from my groups I've never spoke to at all. And it's just, all kind of surreal, but in a good way, in that way, like we're connecting with people that we've never connected with before. And I think that's a very, very beautiful thing. And I just hope people do understand that the most important thing is the gift of life, and that although reality isn't always great, it's better to be in reality loving who we are as a person, loving the people around us in this moment, in this reality, than to deny it and to not love who's in front of us. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think anyway. So anyway, yeah, I do agree with you, Eddie, in the sense boy gets busy, but he does distribute it. He doesn't just take it for himself, which I thought was really interesting, him and his 4 friends. So yeah, I'm very sleepy, so I'm going to get some rest. But I think it's worth a watch, especially if you don't mind your mind being bent, reality being bent, and kind of like, yeah, there is a robot. There's an Iron Man in it, but the traditional Iron Man. It's very, very good film, but it's very mind bending. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you for tonight because I need some rest. And I've had a big day, a long day, and I really appreciate you being here, Eddie. Thank you so very much. And I send you lots of love as always, and thanks for being in my life as well. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your support with asexuality and you being here on this channel. I really appreciate you, really do. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video live stream. I'm gonna get some rest and take care. And if there's someone else watching who hasn't already subscribed, please subscribe below and hit the great big bell icon to get notified of every time I go live. Right now I'll post a new video. I'll see you on the next video or live stream after I've got some rest. Take care. Thank you, Eddie. Lots of love to you. Thank you so much. Bye everyone.